Hello, and welcome back to another installment of Conquering My Collection. It's been a while. I kind of abandoned this series a long time ago. I say abandoned, I mean, it was always going to be there, but it was, it was something that was supposed to be so simple. And so right now I'm filming on my phone. I'm trying this out. This may look weird, it may look not right, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I wanted to get back to it, and just in general, there's been like an aching sense of just getting back to my collection and trying to, get through some of the films in my collection because there's just so many of them, and when they keep coming in, yeah, it's not anxiety, it's just a dull kind of simmering pressure I have for myself where it's like, you need to get watching these, and for me, I always like compartmentalize it as in like, well, I need to keep those films for that series, those Blu-rays for that video, whatever it is, for that marathon or this project. And sometimes there's just films that are just films in my collection that I've bought at some point because I wanted to watch them, and it's nothing more than that. So for this one, I just grabbed it off the shelf. I looked next to me on my kind of, there's loads of stuff everywhere, obviously, but there's like the units behind me. There's another unit on my right. There's a unit in front of me. That's like a kind of a small bookcase that's double walled, so there's double rows of Blu-rays. There's another big IKEA stand with books and more Blu-rays right next to my desk. And so I just looked to the right of me. I was like, what's the first one on the shelf? Have I seen it? No. Let's watch it. Do I want to watch it right now? Not really, but let's just get something watched. So this is the result. Stretch. Yeah, Joe Carnahan directed, I believe. And he did The Grey, I think, and a few other things I can't remember off the top of my head. And stars Patrick Wilson. So this is one of my Poundland pickups from way back when, probably the great Poundland summer of 2018, where I went around to so many different Poundlands in like the Surrey, London area, and just got stacks of stuff. And this, just looked like an action comedy. Patrick Wilson is an actor I really like, and that was really the impetus of buying it. And when you go into Poundland prices, you kind of just grab anything. And there was a point where I thought, like, I'm over egging it here with the Poundland pickups, but this was one that just it stood out a little bit, not a lot. And so again, it is one of those things where I look at it, I think maybe I should just sell that, but then how much would I get for selling it? Probably nothing. It would just be a case of taking it to a charity shop. So I thought, let's give it a watch and see what it's like. So I watched it, and it's quite bad. I could say that some of it is just not good. Patrick Wilson plays a guy called Stretch. This is his nickname. He drives a limousine. Leave it in for free. He drives a limousine, and he moved to LA to be an actor. Didn't work out. Met the woman of his dreams. Didn't work out. In fact, there's a scene right at the beginning of the film where they're having sex, and she's encouraging him to finish. And as soon as he does, as he climaxes, she's like, "Okay, I'm leaving you." And he's just like, "What are you talking about? Like, I'm still." He's on top of her still, And I thought, this is pretty interesting. And she's like, "Well, I thought I'd kind of, get you to a euphoric moment and maybe you take it better." And he said, "No, this is worse. This is much worse." And I was like, okay. And there's a little montage of him like out in the job. And I thought, this is pretty good, actually. And then there's some interesting celebrity cameos. There's a weird one with David Hasselhoff where he's like, "Has anyone ever called you a punk ass motherfucker?" And he's like, "No." "Well, you're a punk ass motherfucker." And as he's about to say motherfucker, it cuts from Hasselhoff to Patrick Wilson, which seemed like a weird editing choice because the motherfucker's coming. And it's a word that is, if anything, was designed and created for emphasis. And to cut away from Hasselhoff as he's delivering the end of that to Patrick Wilson seemed weird. And there's a few editing choices where I could almost feel like they were just trying to scrap together stuff. And there are elements which I felt like maybe it wasn't as planned out or something. I just sensed from the editing that some of it was a bit slapped together. Chris Pine is essentially, he's not even listed on the front of the Blu-ray. Patrick Wilson, Ed Helms. Ed Helms he plays the former boss of Stretch, who dies, and he pops up throughout the film with a weird film noir mustache, and is kind of like the angel devil on his shoulder, but it's never really funny to me. You got Jessica Alba, who plays the kind of call girl at the company for the limo. So she's on the phone with him to get him to like get clients and stuff. But yeah, Chris Pine is essentially like, he's not even on the back of the Blu-ray cover, but he is this billionaire customer who's this absolute nut job, long hair, big bushy beard, and so Stretch is driving him around, and he needs money. He owes money to this kind of this cartel kind of character, and he needs it that night. And the Chris Pine billionaire character is like, well, maybe I can help you with that debt as long as you do everything I need for this one night. And so Stretch ends up going all around LA, getting up to all sorts of crazy shit, just in service of this billionaire, losing his job in the process, becoming a wanted felon, and it just escalates and escalates. And there are some fun moments. I kind of felt like there's a stretch when, no pun intended, where Chris Pine's character goes to this like orgy party or something, and he's not in the film for a while, and suddenly the film just got a lot better. I just feel like his performance was teetering on the edge of not being very good a lot of the time. Even Patrick Wilson, I don't know what the real joke is here, because there's a scene where he has to go and pick up loads of money from this guy, and he's suddenly outnumbered by all these henchmen and stuff, and it's not going well. And so he decides to own the room, which is something a casting director told him he didn't do in his audition. So he's like, listen, motherfucker, or something like that, where he just like, he gives it the big ball business, and it's not that convincing, and it falls a bit flat, and they're like, oh shit, okay, here you go. And I'm like, really, they bought that? And it's played off like a triumphant moment, like he finally learned how to act. But then you see that all the people who are there are not really criminals, they're actually undercover policemen. So there's a larger plot at play, and I was like, okay, that kind of works. But then at the very end, that police officer's like, hey, that was really good. That was really good acting. You should consider that as a career kind of thing. And I was like, was it though? Because I kind of thought the joke was that he isn't good at acting. And is Patrick Wilson playing a guy who isn't good at acting? Or is he just not doing a good job himself for this film? I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was a good time. Would I watch it again? I don't know. I really don't know. And that's kind of the thing, isn't it? Where is it worth keeping something like this around? And ultimately, with these kinds of titles, I mean, this is just your bog standard studio release. I did look it up. There is a Kino release of this that actually has extras and a new commentary and stuff. I was like, this is just almost worthless. Who would buy this, right? So am I just keeping it to collect dust? Like, what's the point of having it? I don't know. But I didn't hate it. I had a decent time with it. The ending was fairly predictable, but I enjoyed that nonetheless. And there were moments where Chris Pine looked suitably kind of batshit crazy. I just feel like he hadn't fully nailed it down, or there was something about it that was a bit off. Anyway, Stretch. That's it. That's my review. That's my thoughts. That's another Blu-ray down in my collection. I'm trying to work up the watch list again, and to try and tot up all the stuff that I need to watch, because I've gone way back over 1,000 again, including short films and TV shows and documentaries. But still, it's not great. So I need to add in everything that I haven't added to my big watch list on Letterboxd. But at least this one is off that now. So that's one. I'll try and do more of these. We'll see how this worked out, this setup, because it was, in theory, quicker for me to film like this, but I don't know if it will even turn out well in any way, shape, or form. But that was Stretch. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I don't know where to look either with the phone. Am I looking at here? Is that more natural? Or am I looking here? That's just unnatural, and yeah, maybe I should have sat more here. I don't know. We'll figure it out or not. Again, thank you for watching. See you next time.